Good morning, this is Rafe Lucas. Thank you very much for being with us this morning and for your intrepidness in braving the very earliest stages of the Good Careers Guide platform. Many of you have been with us for 12 months and that is enormously appreciated, but some of you are new. You're just as welcome. So if the old hands can bear with us while I describe where we are and what we're doing before we get on to the business of the platform itself. The problem that we face is that careers information in the UK, I suspect all over the world, is disconnected and hard to find and hard to evaluate. If you're looking for information on what it would like to be a software engineer or a fisherman, it's very hard to know where to go. If you get one piece of information, it's just as hard to find your way to the next. And we found this ourselves when we set out to contribute to careers information by doing reviews of the training provision that companies provide in the style of the Good Schools Guide. The difficulty of getting people to find it and evaluate it and spread it to people is just there for us as it is for the other 1,000 people who are trying to help people make good career choices. So our solution to the problem was to found a social enterprise, the Good Careers Guide, based on the idea of collaboration, working together to solve a problem that we all face. And there are several strands to the Good Careers Guide. We are continuing with our reviews. We are building a site to help parents advise their children, and we are facilitating links between schools and businesses and service providers. But today what we're looking at is the platform, and this is a crowdsourced mapping of careers information in the UK, not just locating it and saying it's there, but also evaluating it in the fashion of crowdsourcing by getting the opinion of tens or hundreds of individuals who are interested in that particular career to say which bits of information they found most helpful and why. This is in the tradition of the likes of Wikipedia or TripAdvisor, or for those of you with a scientific bent like me, Galaxy Zoo. And it is wonderful what a difference a large number of people can make, each making a small contribution to tackling a problem which would seem utterly impossible to do for any single organization. We are also, as part of this mapping, introducing a network representation of careers. Most of the information out there now is in hierarchies. If you look under biology, you will find biological careers. If you look under computing, you find computing careers. But actually there's a wonderful new field of bioinformatics which is in both, and you risk not finding it if you start in the wrong route. With a network, everything is connected, and we will be evolving that network with your thoughts and advice as we go through this process. And what we will also find, I think, at the end of this is that by creating a network, by making it easier to find careers information, we will stimulate its creation. It will become easy for someone who has a good idea, who wants to explain what a particular career is like, to put that on the web and then get it found, get it to be part of the network, so that we will not only get better mapped career information, I think we will get a lot more and better careers information. We are going for a full launch of this system in Easter. What you're entering now is a controlled alpha site, a limited number of selected participants are pioneers, and the agenda today is for Professor Nabney from Aston University to take you through the system as it currently is, and to show you how you can begin to work it. It is very much in development. We absolutely want your feedback. You will find the the service at help@goodcareersguide.co.uk responsive, and if any of you want to be involved to a greater extent, and we certainly hope that some of you will want to take a hand in making sure that this system suits you and offers you the facilities that you want, then we will link you up with your own particular contact at the Good Careers Guide so that we can work together on your ideas. So use it, tell us what it's like to use it, help us improve it, and then come back again and start the process and keep it rolling around from now until Easter. So now over to Ian Lebney.
Hello everybody, I have with me a couple of colleagues. One is David Bennett. Hello. Who's been implementing the plugin that we see, and the other is Alina Patelli. Hello. Who has been developing the network ontology to represent careers and career information. So what I'm going to do is take you through the process of how you get access to the plugin and then how you use it to explore career information and add to our store of knowledge about careers. So the first thing to do is to get the plugin. So you should, I believe, already have been given the URL of the site and hopefully been given a username and password. So I'm just going to log in here in the usual way. And then I want to get the add-on, which is available from this tab at the top here. So just to briefly state that the add-on only works with Firefox, and it has to be a moderately recent version of Firefox. The version number, David, is?
It's about 26.
About 26 or above.
As I mentioned, if you've downloaded the add-on before today, then still follow these steps. You have the latest version.
Because it is under development still at the moment. So please do follow these instructions and download it. So we just click where it says, we allow it to be installed, and there we go. That's been installed successfully. So what you'll see in the toolbar is a green square with a G in it. That is the link to the Good Careers Guide add-on. So let's start by having a look at the dashboard. So the dashboard, well, eventually we'll have a profile here and you'll have your own picture. For the moment, you have to have this probably blank-faced person in a black t-shirt. And there are a number of pieces of information that we can get from here. So we have a progress indicator which shows what percentage of our to-do list has been complete. We have pages that are being recommended by the system for you as an individual to review, and those will be different for each person. At the moment, those are assigned at random, but as we gather more information about individuals and build some more back-end software, the plan is that these will be assigned on the basis of being related to things that you have already reviewed positively. This box here shows the latest suggestions for sites to review, and over on the left-hand side we have a number of a menu with a number of things that you can look through. So under settings, you can manage your profile. Poor old John Smith seems to have been born on the 1st of January 1990, so obviously one of our older participants in this scheme. We can look at the organisations that we belong to. So John Smith belongs to Aston University, and I can add more organisations if I'm a member of several different organisations. I can look through my past reviews. So here we have a list of pages in reverse date order that the pages that I've reviewed, gives the comments I've put in, and each of the green pieces of text is a link to that particular page. And then there's my to-do list here, which is giving me the list of pages that I've been assigned to. I have been assigned, or I have selected to review. So when we do the reviewing, if we don't complete it, it will be added to the to-do list. So there are two things that we're working on here. One is the reviewing, which I'll show you in just a moment. But the second thing I want to show you is the exploration. So this is a way of exploring the information by topic. And as Rafe was saying, instead of it being simply an alphabetical list or a hierarchy, what we have here is a network of information. And the aim is that in a version to be released pretty soon, we'll be automatically able to link this ontology, as it's called, this way of categorizing information, with the reviewing and the tagging of the reviews. So if we look, for example, at accountancy as a topic, we simply search here. Let's try. The server might be down. So David is going to try and restore it on the laptop. So I will go back to the dashboard and find a review. So what we have here then is a page to review. This is a page from Accenture about the careers that are available. And I'm sorry, it's a bit see because I've got the webinar material up, but this is the page in the right-hand side. In the left-hand panel is the review page. So it fills in automatically the title of the page. There's a box here to put in our review, which is where we can put in any free text, page types, and then a couple of review scores and some tagging at the bottom. So I'll take you through those one by one. So if I'm going to review this page, what I'm going to write then is some information about what I think about it in a free text way. So I guess this page describes all the excitements of a career in accountancy. It has a good video about a particular employee. Okay. We then can click on page type, and then this gives us a pull-down list of a number of different types of page. And as always, as you might expect, at the there's quite a wide range of different possibilities here. I think this is best described as career description, so we would put that in there, and we can remove it and replace it with something else if we wish to. We then have two scales here, and the subtle distinction between them is that the first one of these is rating the page as a page about careers. So what that's saying is that if we look at this page as a page and what the information is that's contained on it, how useful is it to people who are interested in this particular career? So let's suppose we look at this. It's got a map, it's got some employee spotlights, it's got latest jobs. This is around team culture, so I would say that's a pretty good page, so I'll score that at 8 out of 10. Being a very pernickety person, I very rarely give 10 out of 10. And then the second scale is one where it's how useful is it to me individually. So as it happens, I'm quite happy being an academic in computer science. I don't particularly want to change career and become an accountant now. So for me personally, although the page is in abstract very useful, for me personally, it's not very useful. So the point here is that these two pieces of information, as we can see from this example, can be very different. You might ask, why do we have both scores? Well, we have both scores because the top one is going to be useful to recommend information and pages to individuals. The second one is finding out about me, or the person doing the rating, as an individual. And the reason that's important is that it enables us, when we have the back-end analytics up and running, which is one of the things we're developing later this year, it enables us to target the information that we provide to that particular individual. So if they've gone through and they've said on several accountancy pages, I'm not interested in this, and they say on the software engineering pages, I'm very interested in software engineering, and they go to a bioinformatics page or biology page and they say, I'm very interested in biology, we could deduce from that that, right, clearly accountancy is not something we should be giving them to look at, but that something that involves biology and computer science might well be useful. And in that case, using the ontology, we could say, aha, one thing that is linked to both biology and computer science is the field of bioinformatics. And we can then present a sixth former or a young person with job opportunities and careers that they wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So this is a way of trying to understand the individual and therefore make better recommendations to them. So those two scores are then very important. At this point, we can put in the organization name. So usually this will be filled in by the organization itself. I'll just put in Accenture for now, and then one can find contact details as well. And then finally, we have the tags, comma separated. So here we can type in important tags. I put a comma in and automatically it then gives me a new box to fill in. So I could then put in, what else can I put in about this? Well, this person is working in consulting, so I think it's another good tag for this page, and so on. So I can add as many tags as I want. And at this point now, I can then submit the review. It's been submitted successfully, stored in the database, and so on. So that's the process of doing a review. We've tried to make it as straightforward and as quick as possible for the individual. I think it's fairly clear that it certainly takes less time to do the review than to actually read the page and understand it and evaluate it. And it gives us lots of useful information that will be valuable for back-end analytics in the future. So I think I can now go back to the dashboard page, and let me just move that a bit lower, and we can now go to the Explore page, and I believe the server issues are now behind us. Yes, there we go. So I've typed in accountancy, and what this does now is it displays a part of this large network of information that we have. We have
11,500 nodes.
Right, so Alina's prompted me with 11,500 nodes altogether in the network. You'll be glad to hear we're not trying to present that to you all at once. What we do is we allow you to search for a particular key term, and it will then display the local area, the local region of the network around that particular term. I should say there is a rather annoying blue watermark across this, which says Keylines Evaluation, because we have at the moment an evaluation copy of the JavaScript library that powers this display. That is going to be resolved very soon. So just, I'm afraid, bear with it while we do the demonstration at the moment. And what we can see in here is that we have accountancy here, and then we have a range of related topics around it. So accounting as a discipline up here. We have then other roles of accountancy, so district auditor, and district auditor is then linked to local government. So you can see, here's a very nice example of what Rafe was talking about. District auditor is clearly related to accountancy, but it's also related to local government because that's the sort of employer that one has in that particular role. And then we have various flavors of accountancy over here, so audit management, public accountancy, chartered accountancy, and linked to accountancy is auditing, that thing that all junior accountants love to do, and various sorts of audit over here, so forensic auditing, internal auditing, computer systems auditing, and so on. And then that links off to computing. So you can see how this enables us to understand a concept and related ideas and then navigate across between them. So if I click, right click, sorry, on district auditor, that then shows me the nodes related to district auditor in that particular particular part of the network, and you can see also in the history here, we have that's been added to the history. And the controls are described over here. So right click focuses on a node, left click highlights a node, and we can then go back to home here, and that takes us back to what we had before. So that's one example. Another example is quantitative methods. And if we search for that, we get a rather larger piece of network here, and that focuses on quantitative methods, and that goes around to maths, quantitative risk management, quantitative cell biology, quantitative finance, and then off to trading, and so on. So you can see that the networks can be of different sizes, and on this on the left-hand side, we have a rather Google Map-like set of controls which enable us to zoom in or to move right or left across this this display. So what the aim is that these terms will be part of what we use for the tagging, and in a version add-on to be released pretty soon, that will be then automated, but that's not there just at the moment. David's smiling at me. So I think I've now demonstrated everything that's there. Yep, I'm getting nods from my colleagues, which is good. So I think at that point I can pass back to you as the audience, and we can take questions. Victoria, do you want to pick that up?
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Ian. We've had one question from Stuart Allison, which is, can you clarify organisation entry? And Stuart, I will unmute you now so that you can also ask your question.
Okay, so organisation entry. So if we go, if I go back to the dashboard, well, in fact, perhaps one thing I should demonstrate is that you can actually start a review by, if you find a page, you can click on this icon here. So if we go perhaps to do this review, that's history trying to review a PDF, which is perhaps not the most helpful. Let's try IBM. So we have here the IBM page. So I'm going to chase this webinar thing around. So over here we have organization name and organization contact. Now our expectation is that, I believe, and Rafe will correct me if I'm wrong here, that that certain owners of those pages, who are certainly the owners of the pages who are signed up with the Careers Guide, will be putting that sort of information in themselves, but that otherwise a reviewer can select it. It's not a compulsory part of the review.
It's part of the structure of careers information, is that by and large it's been put on the web by an organization of some kind or another. So each of those organizations has their own structure of information. So if you look at IBM, it has its own structure of careers, its own collection of careers information. And if we identify that information as belonging to IBM, then we can display a version of the network which is specific to IBM. So you can look at all the careers in IBM, you can look at all the careers information connected to IBM in the same kind of network display as you're using to explore careers in general. And we will also, a little further down the road, be able, I hope, to persuade companies to add information to that network about where people are employed, what numbers they're employed in, and to point particularly at the criteria that they use for recruitment and where you go to find out about how to become an employee and how you get connected into the communications network so that IBM tells you when suitable vacancies come up. All that sort of taking on from being interested in careers to having a definite interest in a particular company or a particular career, and how you use the network to connect to that. And this is an area that we haven't built out yet. I very much hope that some of you who have a corporate role as well as a personal role will take an interest in helping us get this bit right.
So I hope does that answer your question?
Yep, Stuart's confirmed that has answered his question, so thank you very much for that. Just moving on to Nikki Moore, and Nikki, I'll unmute you in a second. Couple of questions. With regards to the page type, can you enter more than one? And also, with regards to the tags, can you include curriculum subjects?
Okay, so for page types, can you enter more than one, David? Right, so there we go. From the developer's mouth, yes is the answer.
It isn't obvious yet, but it will become obvious shortly, because I saw this is something that's appeared since I last looked at the add-on, and we just need to make it a bit more obvious that you can add a second field too, and how to get there.
Yeah, so if I add one, then if I click below there, I get the same pull-down menu again. So it's straightforward enough to do.
And may I just add quickly that we absolutely think that most page types will have more than one thing, because most pages cover more than one type of information. So please make that as rich as you can.
Yeah, so apologies, I should have made more of that during the demonstration, but you can see there.
And the list isn't set in stone. If you find you really can't work with the options there and we're missing something, then tell us, and we will, as we collect information in there, we will start exploring how to use that in making the list of pages that support a particular career intelligible and understandable, by saying these are connected with recruitment, these are connected with what the career is like, this is connected with what you have to do to get into the career, so that whatever your particular question is, you can focus in on pages that answer it.
The second question was about tags and can you enter curriculum subjects. The answer is yes. And in the very near future, when we have it linked with those subjects are in the ontology, and in the very near future you'll have sort of word completion and topic completion. So you'll be able to type the beginning of computer science and it'll come up with that. But at the moment, yes, you can go into there, and if I type computer science, the comma, I can then add, I don't know what else you might want to have in here. You might want to have business studies, comma, and so on. So there's no problem with adding in curriculum topics and multiple ones of that. So again, I hope that answers your question.
The underlying ontology is a very wide one. It embraces university courses, SIC codes, SOC codes, all sorts of different sources of names of courses and names of careers, and also things associated with it, like life skills. So there's once you're into a network, it really doesn't matter what you add in by way of tags. They can be mapped into the network, and we will encourage you to tag pages in ways that you think are helpful to you, and we will adapt the network to that.
Exactly so. Yeah. So again, I hope that's answered the question.
Nikki, you are off mute if you wanted to ask your additional question.
And what, sorry?
We can hear you if you wanted to ask your...
Oh, can you? Oh, I didn't realise that.
It's
okay.
all right, no
so
worries.
I just I didn't realise that. So could we put a SOC code in then as well? You mentioned SOC and SIC codes. Is that something that would be helpful?
You can. We have mapped the ontology to SOC codes. We haven't yet implemented that. It certainly will be there in the course of the next month or two. Difficulty with SOC codes, of course, is that they're very broad. They cover a lot of different careers in one SOC code. But we're interested in linking out to the information which is available. There's a good deal of government and other information available through UKCES and other places.
That's why I was wondering, because they are.
And we're very interested in linking out to that. But we just haven't built that yet. We've done the mapping. We just haven't done the building.
Yeah, Sure.
Yeah, so
No
what we have is the ontology doesn't have actually the numerical value of the code. It has the name of the SOC in there. And as I say, it's definitely in there. It's just that we haven't got the autocomplete done, but it's one of the top things on our to-do list. So certainly, if you know the SOC code and you write it in, then it'll be linked. It'll be linked through. So that's no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and keen to listen to views on how we do it. As ever, once we've implemented it, to be told we should have done it a different way is fine, because this is all about experimenting. And generally, we will, once you're on a node in the network, it will be possible to look at a range of associated information. We've already got Google search implemented. There will be a link through to Wikipedia. There's probably a link through to a job site. And certainly where there is information available related to a SOC code, that will be linked to.
Okay. Thank you.
Lovely, thanks, Nikki. Another question from William Richins. What level of sense checking of the reviews will be for the accuracy of tagging and appropriateness of language? And Will, you're off mute if you wanted to speak as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed that last bit, Victoria.
Sorry, what level of sense checking of the reviews will there be for the accuracy of tagging and appropriateness of language?
I don't think you can check an individual review for the accuracy of tagging. The way you get that accuracy is by having a lot of people review the same site, and then you get a consensus or a pattern of tags which show which ones are generally considered to be related to the page, and the outliers may either be a piece of inspired understanding or just offside. So we will develop ways within the our data system of analysing tag patterns and trying to make sure that what we then display to people as the tag pattern when they're using the site reflects a consensus, but an intelligent consensus of how a number of people have reviewed that particular page. And it's like looking at a TripAdvisor page. You will see a pattern of reviews. Some people will have hated the place and others will have loved it. And it is interesting to have that variety available to you. One doesn't want to try and reduce it too much to a single value. So far as abuse is concerned, I think we will, no, it isn't a problem with such a select group as you, but generally we will have a self-reporting system. This isn't a system that is about abuse. It's about finding good things. You don't need to be rude about a page. You just give it a low rating. You don't need to be rude about a company or use this as an opportunity to take out your bile on something. It isn't what the system is for, or what it's meant to be conveying, which is helping people to get to places that they will like. So we will just have a fairly robust system of takedown. If people abuse the site continually, we will take them offline. It isn't a place that needs to have a balance of bad reviews. It just needs to be focused on what people like.
Yeah, so I agree with Rafe there that we want the sort of, we initially want the diversity of views, and we can then do some statistical analysis and look for outliers and so on, so that unusual reviews can be highlighted and perhaps dealt with if necessary. And certainly in terms of abuse and so on, that's something that we don't need to worry about at this stage, while we're still at the alpha and beta stages. At least I hope not.
Well, does that answer your question?
It does, yes, thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. Over to Peter Feingold now. He's mentioning about the rating of questions and the possible ambiguity. Peter, I'm just going to unmute you so that you can speak up. Okay,
Hello. Hi. Yeah, it was a really. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. It's a really straightforward one. There was just the two scales. How would you rate this page for you personally, as opposed to how would you rate this page overall? I just thought to remove some ambiguity. I felt quality of page for the first one and value to you personally would make it clearer, a clearer distinction. And there may be other distinctions between the two.
No, that sounds actually like quite a good rewording. I think if Rafe and Bill are happy with that, I think that would make a lot of sense. It would make it clearer because we don't have people having to listen to me to explain why that's.
Exactly.
This is absolutely the sort of comment we want from you. There's a limit to how intelligent we few can be in the middle. It's your intelligence we're after.
Well, thanks very much. While I've got the microphone, then can I just make another observation based on the previous comments, really, which is about differentiating between users or reviewers of the site who are like myself, corporate, and those who are actually students. Is there some way to be able to aggregate sixth form students' perspectives so that the scores are actually, so they're actually the audience it's designed for, rather than the people who are providing the materials in the first place?
Yes, that's not there yet on the system, but when we do the next iteration or so of your own personal details, we will start to ask more questions about where you are in the world of careers and about what other organisations you're connected with. There will be people clearly who are effectively playing the role of employers. They are making sure that the IBM site is properly reviewed and that all the pages are there and are tagged in a sensible way. They will just be one user on the system, so there will be lots of other views there, but their own views as the official IBM representative will be tagged as coming from the company. Right. Similarly, there may well be people like you who are one would class as experts. There will be people who are trainees or at university or still at school, and I think we would try and differentiate as a group between each of those sorts of people, because it's useful when someone is looking at a pattern of reviews to say, well, what does the company say about it, and what do others say about it? What does the expert on computer science say about it as compared with someone who is at the beginning of their GCSEs?
Thanks, Rafe. I mean, that's fine for the sort of more qualitative, descriptive stuff, but in terms of the overall rating, the score that you'll get, the number of stars or whatever will appear. If I were a sixth form student, I'd like to know perhaps that that my peers had rated the page and given it a score, and I'd like to be able to differentiate between perhaps what the company or companies or others with other interests had rated it.
Yes,
I would too.
And just interject there. I mean, the profile is very basic at the moment, but the intention is that there will be a class of user. So when you first sign up, you'll be able to select which type of user you are, and of course, yes, student will be one of those. So that yes, aggregation by type of reviewer will be possible, but it's not this particular version at the moment. The most important thing for us is to get the reviews in and get some of the data on board. But yes, it's clearly important.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Peter?
It does indeed, thanks.
Fabulous, lovely. Okay, going over to Alan Simmons. I'm just unmuting you now, Alan. You had a couple of questions. Oh, Alan, are you there?
Sounds like he's typing.
Yeah, no worries. I'll read out the questions just in case we have a problem with the audio. Can we just clarify who exactly will be doing the reviews? Is it going to be young people, students, undergrads, teachers, or careers advisors?
At this stage, we have a limited number of people involved. So we have some students at Aston from our student software company who are going to be acting as surrogates for the younger generation, if I put it that way. And Rafe, perhaps you can talk about the composition of the other people you've invited on board.
No, well, as we go over the next month or few, we will be adding representatives of all those classes, and absolutely everybody comments. And as we discussed just previously, the different views of the different classes of commenter will be visible when we have enough information to make that possible and sensible. It is very important to understand how a school pupil is looking at a particular set of information as compared to a university pupil, as compared to someone who's already in work. I mean, it's a useful, knowing which bits of information will really get through to girls about to decide which GCSEs to take is something which is crucial to people who provide careers information. They really want to know what's working and isn't for them.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh, we can, Alan, yes.
Hi, thank you for that, Rafe. Yes, that clarifies it a bit. The second question I had really was about the personal review rating. And I think the implication I got from the description earlier, the explanation earlier, was that by the sort of reviews that an individual will make, that would indicate to you which career areas they're interested in. And I just wondered whether you had any plans in the profile part of the website when somebody registers to indicate which career areas they're interested in at that point.
I think this is something where we want to listen to you and our other pioneers, and I start off with from the position that I would like it to be something that became apparent from the way that people explore. I'm very conscious that the happiest statistician I know is a journalist, and if you see what I mean, there's no, just because you think you want to be something doesn't mean that's where you might end up, or that that's the total of the ambitions that are open to you. And we are very much interested in trying to open people's eyes to opportunities and get them to look at things they haven't thought of before. People's experience of careers is mostly quite limited, and we want to try and we would like this to be a system that allowed people to go well beyond what they had thought of for themselves. So, but actually, how it will work, what it should do, to what extent we ought to put in people's existing interests, that's something we will want to experiment with and very much listen to our users.
Yes, I think I agree with Rafe there. It is one of the things that could be useful. It's one of the things, though, we want to probably to explore with younger people, students, and so on, as to what they would find valuable to them in their search, in their sort of search for career information and search for their future path. But it's certainly something that could be done to present that information to them explicitly.
I think that's very helpful. Thank you. I like the idea of the nodes as a way of broadening individuals' career thinking. That looks like a very positive way of describing and illustrating the range of careers and how they're connected.
Good.
Great, thanks for that. Question from Paul Finch. Have we just seen the candidate view? And Paul, I will unmute you now in case you have extra questions.
Sorry, could you repeat that question, Victoria? I didn't quite catch it.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, yes. I can hear you.
Yeah. I think the question's actually, we were just a little confused as to whether we were looking at candidates or those organisations. The question's already been answered.
Okay, lovely. Sorry about that. Thank you. And David Pollard is asking, how will the site be used by young people looking for a career?
So obviously some of the functionality will be coming along later, but they will be exploring careers pages and so on, and rating them. And as I said, when we get the information from what they're following, that will enable us to help them direct where they might be interested in other pages in the future, as it were. So if we get some when we get some more background about them in the profile in terms of what subjects they're studying, for example, and which ones they enjoy, we add that to the. Could we have that? Oh, that muted again. Sorry. If we add that information to their actual rating of individual sites that they look at, that gives us a very rich piece of information to help them, guide them in terms of what aspects would be of relevance and interest to them. So basically, through recording what they do when they're on the site, we build up a better picture of their interests and their strengths, and therefore we can then guide them better. And of course, I think Rafe also has plans for links with things like questionnaires about interests and aptitudes, so that would give us even more refined information about their interests and their skills. I don't know, Rafe, if you want to pick that one up?
Yes, I mean, and we will be linking, because we're a collaborative organisation, we will be linking out to and working with as many other providers of careers advice and information as possible, and just aiming to make our facility something which add on to theirs. So how this will be used, we will learn in practice, I think, and we will try and make our system adapt to the way that people want to use it.
My basis of the question, David Pollard speaking here, if you can hear me,
is,
as a starting point, if I'm a young person I want to do it, obviously I've got to go onto the website and register myself on Good Careers Guide. But if I then start to do some research, do I go onto the Good Careers website and then from there go to IBM or Pricewaterhouse or whatever and look at their site and fill in the reviews? Or having got the add-in in my browser, if I happen to, as I'm doing some research, end up on a site that I think is relevant, do I just click on the Good Careers Guide app add-on button and then fill out a review?
That latter, yes. You just click on the green and there you are.
So if here's an IBM page, if I click on the green add-on, I can then I can go directly to dashboard to-do list or just review this page, and there we go. Over here the left-hand panel has reappeared, and we can now review the page. So yes, it can be done the way I've been demonstrating it through the dashboard on the home page, but with this icon here, you can simply in your normal exploration link straight through to it.
And what is it that you're looking for us as pioneers to be in a sense, researching and testing on your behalf? Are we looking to find interesting sites, or are we are you wanting us to build up the data for you so you can see how the network mapping and everything goes?
I think
Rafe,
go on, Ian. You talk first.
Okay, well, I think from my point of view, obviously, I think it's with the number of pioneers we have at the moment, it's a relatively small number. So if you think of the network as 11,500 nodes, there's no way we're going to be able to ask 36 people to review, like a minimum of 11,500 web pages. So at the moment, the primary purpose is to refine this add-on, but also to build up some core data, and also for the organisations that you represent so that we can also view this. We can view this both from the pure reviewing side, but also the organisation's point of view. What information would you like out of the next iteration or the next 2 iterations of this tool? Rafe?
No, I entirely agree with that. It is. I mean, it just there were too few to make a real dent on the data. But we need to know what it's like for you to be there and reviewing, so that we get that system right. But most of all, we want to make sure that we end up with a system that you, in your role with a company, with a supportive organisation, or as a career status, would find really helpful to use and helpful to the people you're trying to help. So it's getting the system right and making sure that what we build is what you need and not just what amuses us.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It's making it a lot clearer.
Great.
Lovely, thank you, David. And then just over to Mike Farrell with a couple of questions.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. Hello, Ralph. I know we spoke a little while back, so thank you for that.
I think we've lost you.
Yes, I've lost time.
Okay, well, we will come back. Let's go over to Sally Wells, who's asking, has anything been developed yet for the parents?
Sorry, Rafe, you carry on.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
She asks, has anything been developed yet for the parents?
There's nothing live yet. No, we very much have a project to produce a resource for parents, and if that's something which she particularly would like to be plugged into, then we will be happy to make that connection. But at the moment, there's nothing on the site for parents to work with. But we are pushing ahead with, and one of the things we're doing for parents is reviewing those service providers like Stanat and Inspiring the Future and others that are happy to involve parents, that will take a parent and say, we can use you to help us help children in this particular way. So we aim to be a channel for those service providers of parents' help and connections. That's one of the things that I really hope we can do with the network, is give each child, wherever they come from, the benefit of everybody's network of how to get in touch with the career that they should be pursuing, rather than just those who start with some kind of family advantage. So we know we really want to involve parents. They're absolutely central to career decisions. But having something useful for them is something which we will be developing the system, but something useful for parents is something which will begin to become apparent at Easter and be there in full form in September, I would suspect.
Lovely, thank you, Rafe. And Mike, can I try you again? No, we must still be having a few problems with audio. What I'll do is I'll collate Mike's questions after the event and send it out to send a Q&A out to the group. Just looking at these. Teresa asks, is there a plan to link the node topics to potential employer opportunities?
Yes, there is. I mean, the plan is that the nodes topics will actually link certainly through to pages and other information as well as we build that up. So yes, is the answer.
Fabulous.
There are some interesting challenges down this road. If you have 1,000 web pages linked to one of the more popular nodes, we are going to have to get quite inventive in how to help people navigate that.
Yes, there's a navigation question.
Expect to see us trying out some ideas on it.
Yeah, but the general principle of, yes, using the ontology as a way of the network, I should say, is a way of exploring the information and linking through to it. Absolutely, we see that as, if you like, certainly a very natural way of trying to navigate the careers landscape, and that is certainly part of what we'll be doing in the future.
Lovely, thank you, Ian. We do still have a few other questions coming in, but I am conscious that we only have a minute to go. So would you like me to collate these questions with the panellists and then send out the answers to everybody after the webinar? Okay, lovely. Well, in that case, I think we're ready to wrap up. Rafe, anything else from you?
No, just to say thank you very much. Absolutely use help@careersguide.co.uk as your way of putting any and all questions and queries and requests into us. And we really aim to engage with you actively and to develop the systems as you want it. As from the beginning, as from the great inspiration of for those of you who were there, the 3 days in Telford with Capgemini, we really want to build this round what you want, and therefore listening to you and you talking to us is absolutely the core of the next few months. Thank you.